It's the first of two bye weeks for Penn State football, and the Nittany Lions finished non-conference play 3-0. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Penn State Sports Night. I'm Jeremy Ganes, joined alongside by Evan Lasek and Adam Michalesko, and we'll be breaking down Penn State's season so far. Evan, Penn State is coming off an absolute nail-biter against Pitt. What have you seen from this young team so far, specifically on offense?
So far, the offensive side of the ball has been productive, but only in the second half. The first half, we have not been able to move downfield. Our run game starts off slow, and Sean Clifford looks a little skittish in the pocket. He needs to trust his arm and trust the whole system and hope that KJ is going to be open. KJ has been our whole offense as of this far. He just flies past the corners, and because of his blazing speed, it's very difficult to cover him on the deep ball. The short passes are a little rough right now as our receivers just keep dropping crucial third down catches, but our run game needs to step up more. Ricky Slade, Journey Brown, and Noah Kane are the three backs, and I expect Noah Kane to touch the ball more and more throughout each week. He had a great drive that was all him, and he played phenomenal. If that keeps up, I believe then he will step into a starting role that Journey Brown is now consumed.
And could I add on to that? Not only did those running backs go off, but we had number 40, Nick Uri, who went off in first week, and he even got a touchdown. That's our fifth running back. But Sean Clifford, it is his first year. Tight end is your best friend when you're a quarterback, and for him to keep throwing to his tight end, which is perfectly acceptable, you gotta light up KJ Hamler. That's the face of this team right now. You gotta light him up. The deep ball needs to be way more accurate, but the offense is looking good right now. Pitt, that's a rival game. That's always gonna be.
Yeah, I believe once Sean develops more of a chemistry with his offense, then it's just gonna flow easier and easier each game.
Yeah, his growth during this season is going to be key for where they're going to be able to go, and also how the backfield committee sort of system they have going on right now. However that shakes out, is really we're going to see how that offense really kind of develops over the season. But let's talk some defense here. They've really started out solid so far this season. We saw last year they were really able to stop the run, but they're not perfect, Adam.
No, honestly, their run defense has been phenomenal so far. There's one guy he tackles, and there's three other guys who follows right up with it. Their run defense is exceptional right now, but the passing defense needs to, slow. They need to get that under control before they get up to their, big three games: Ohio, Michigan, and Michigan State. Those games are when it's official. Right now it's just warming up to that. But this defense, I think, could make a good run. You have the couple players on the Bednarik watch list and the Nagurski watch list. This team is legit this year, and if they continue to do this going into those big three games, they might have a shot at being, in the number 4 seeding possibly.
I believe the one thing we do need to work on as a team on defense is just adapting to the play. Pitt killed us on screens in the first half, and then they carried it on in the second half. It wasn't until late in the fourth quarter that our defense finally realized, hey, this is a screen. We need to jump up and stop this before they take another big gain.
And remember, defense wins games.
Absolutely. My biggest concern certainly is Tariq Castro-Fields having some trouble on defense with the one-on-one matchups, and it's not going to get any easier against the Big Ten matchups that they'll have later in the season with the wide receivers that they have. But let's talk some coaching now. Mainly what I'm kind of thinking about right now, Evan, is kind of this offensive play calling. Is it doing enough to maximize the potential of the skill players that Penn State has?
Right now, basically the play call on offense is just send KJ deep and hope Sean can catch up to him. Our guys are running short routes, and we're just being very conservative with the ball. Sean, I think it's trying to get Sean more comfortable in the pocket and trying to get him more completions, but sometimes you just got to air it out. Our play call is way too conservative, and I think it's because Franklin wants to keep the time of possession on our side, but that also hurts because when he's running it on 3rd and long or not going for it on 4th and short in the enemy territory, then it's just giving the ball back to them. And that's just not productive, especially with these Big Ten matchups coming up. You need to be a little more aggressive with the play calling and try to get those big plays or try to just chip away.
I'm not going to say anything about coaching yet. The only time I will say anything is after the big three games, because that's when it really comes down to. Last year, Ohio, there were some questionable calls, some bowl games, questionable calls, but I'm not going to say anything until after those games have been played.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you, Evan. Certainly, the play calling is going to need to get a little bit more adventurous, I would say, as they get in the later parts of the season, because it's going to be hard to convert 3rd and 9 every single play, and they've had a lot of those kinds of situations. But one last thing for you guys here. Season outlook. We're only a few games in, haven't played any Big Ten games, but is Penn State on track to have a really competitive season and compete for the Big Ten title? Where are they kind of at right now?
You know, it's so early in the season, it's really difficult to tell because the first 2 games, they started out slow again, but then the second half, they just exploded for a massive amount of points. Pitt game, we started out slow. We finished strong defensively, but our offense never really got the ball moving. Now, going into places like Ohio State away, Michigan here, and Michigan State away, those games are almost back-to-back-to-back. That's going to take a high toll on our team and tire them out. So we're hoping that they'll be prepared by then and have the chemistry that they need to just continue to roll.
I completely agree with you, Evan. Honestly, like you said, these first 3 games are nothing special. But once you get into the harder part of your schedule, you have to be perfect through all 4 quarters, and they have not done that yet. First quarter is a little iffy, but I mean, besides the first game, but they'll eventually start. I feel like settle in. Like I say, NFL. Week 4 is when the team's legit. Everyone's just getting warmed up, and then the way these are harder scrimmages, I would say, but once it gets into the harder part of the schedule, they need to start getting a roll on if they want to make a deep run this year.
Harder scrimmages, indeed. And that'll do it for us on Penn State Sports Night. For all your Penn State football needs, keep it locked on Penn State Sports Night.
Thank you for watching our latest edition of Penn State Sports Night. If you're a fan of our content, please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more clips. Also follow us on Twitter at PSSNTV and on Instagram at PSU Sports Night to keep up with the action. For all my colleagues, we are Penn State Sports Night.